Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another beautiful Tuesday evening. If today is your first time viewing my channel, my name is Adebukola Akon, and I love to be called Auntie Buki, and I'm glad to have you here today with me today. Before you go on, I want you to click on the subscribe button down below. Last Tuesday, we took our lesson from the book of Genesis chapter 14 and 15. Talked on the story of Lot and Abraham. Lot was held captive by King Elam, and how Abraham was able to save Lot with his trained 318 army, trained in his own household. Today we are going to take our Bible series from the book of Genesis chapter 16. But before we go on, I want to start today with it's going to be a little twist. I want to start today with a short story. It's the story of a slave boy called Amako. Amako was a slave boy. He lived in the land of Bamida. He was diligent in his work. His boss realized his ability and set Amako to head all his estates and businesses. Amako became so great, very great. But after few years, Amako became so proud. Amako was a proud man and wanted to be the boss. He felt he knew all about his boss's business, and he thought with all he has done, he deserved to take the best of the boss. So one fateful day, the boss' son came visiting. He came to check on what was going on with his father's estate. So he was talking with Amako, trying to understand how the business is going. Amako was so irritated. He was just looking at the boy. After a few hours, Amako thought his boss's son has left the building because he didn't hear anything. And he called up, he told them there's going to be a meeting, and everybody was rushing. He now called up a meeting and started telling the top management staff that that boy is nothing, and that he is the rightful owner of this business because he has spent years building this company to where it is today. What he didn't realize was that while he left the boy, the bosses himself came into the office to check on what was going on. So the boss was in the office. So when the meeting was called, the boss was notified that there was going to be a meeting. So the boss and the son stood far off. What the boss was trying to do was teach the boy how Amako goes about holding meetings, doing things, not knowing that it was a plot. After Amako finished his great speech, the boss clapped for him and said, "Step out and leave. Don't look back." He was like, "Sir, you can't just sack me." The boss said, "You're sacked. You've sacked yourself. You want to take my place. You've sacked yourself. Leave." So Amako went back from hero to zero because he wanted more than what he got. This particular story relates to somebody in the Bible. Can you guess? Okay, when I'm going to start today's Bible series, so once it gets to the part of that character I'm talking about, then I will refer to it. So after 10 years that Abraham had been in the land of Canaan, Sarai, his wife, decided to help God because they still had no child. And Abraham comes up and tells Sarah, God said he's going to bless us, but they still had no child after 10 years. Remember, Abraham left when he was 75. So after 10 years, he was what? 85. Sarah was what? 75. And they had no child. And Sarah was like, you know what, Abraham? I think I know I'm the problem, and I feel there's a way out. So Sarai decided to help God. While she was in Egypt, last two Tuesdays ago, we talked on the story of when Abraham left Egypt. After Abraham left Canaan to the land of Egypt because of the famine in land. So you can just go back to that. I don't want to go back to that particular one. So while they were in Egypt, Sarah was giving so many gifts. So she was also giving female and male servants. But there was this particular one. She was the likable type. She was well behaved. So Sarai thought. The name was Agai. So remember the story of Amako. Agai behaved exactly like Amako. Let's go on. Sarai told Abraham to go in with his maid, with Agai, and that she would be able to bear children for her. So the idea was, Agai gets pregnant for my husband and the child becomes mine. But you know what Sarai did? Immediately you know what Agai did? Immediately she realized she was pregnant. She started to take the place of the madam. What just came flying out of her mouth anyhow? Let me give you a scenario. Sarai comes to me and like, Agai, please, I need you to try and cook today. She was like, me? Cook? I am pregnant. Oh, sorry, you don't know what it means to be pregnant. You've never been in my place before. She was just saying things. She was so disrespectful. She was commanding people in the house. So she was like, hey, you come here. She was actually behaving like the madam. Sarah was like, how can she move from being that lovable girl to being this monster? I don't understand. I know what happened. Abraham must have told her things that made her feel she can take my place. So Sarah went to meet Abraham crying, telling her, what have I done that you and my own slave Agai treats me anyhow in my own home? I'm becoming a stranger in my own home. And Abraham was like, I don't understand what you're talking about. Agai is your maid. She's your maid. So why will your maid make you feel uncomfortable in your own home? And Sarah was like, so you know nothing about the way she behaves? I know nothing about what she's doing. Agai is your maid. Do to her as it pleases you. Sarah said, wow. So this slave girl that I brought feels because she has what I don't have, what I've looked up for, what I've been searching for. She feels she can treat me anyhow in my own home. I am not going to take this. So Sarah started with Agai. Yes. So Agai, as the way she was the next day, was behaving, and Sarah says, come back here. You do what I asked you to do, and if you don't do that, you're not good. Sarah just started giving rules, and she was like, I can't accept. You can't take it, and you will leave. She looked at Abraham thinking he was going to come to her rescue, and Abraham just looked the other way. What's my business? Abraham had this look of, what's my business? So immediately she realized the Oga, which is Abraham, is not even interested in her. Even though she's the one carrying the baby, she knew there was a problem. So she was, and Sarah became so harsh on her. Sarah became very harsh on her. Sarah remembered all the words that came flying, and Sarah came after her. Sarah was so harsh on her. She could not take the toxic environment anymore. She could not stand it anymore. She ran away. She ran for her life. So while she was in the wilderness, the angel of the Lord came to her and said, Agai, what are you doing here? This is how the angel said, Agai, the maid servant of Sarai, what are you doing in the wilderness? Why are you here? And Sarai said, my Lord, I cannot be in that environment anymore. It's too toxic. I can't stand the way my madam treats me. The angel said, Agai, the maid servant of Sarai, go back to your madam and submit yourself to our authority. The baby you're carrying will be called Ishmael. God hears. He will be great. Multitudes that cannot be counted will come out of him. But you must go back and submit yourself under authority. You have to be under authority. So Sarah went back and she learned the hard way to submit. She submitted to Sarah, but the relationship was not like before anymore. She had actually stained a smooth relationship, but Sarah left her. She became pregnant and Sarah left her with the baby. She became pregnant. Abraham was happy. The baby was named Ishmael, just as the angel said. And they lived together. This is where I'm going to stop this particular lesson today. But there's one thing I want you to take out of today's lesson. No matter where you get to in life, no matter who you are, remember where you are coming from. Remember, there is always hierarchy, and you must always be submissive to anyone that is higher than you. You cannot surpass, you can't outgrow anyone that is ahead of you. You can't imagine yourself saying, yes, I know it all, I don't need anyone to tell me what to do. That was what led to a guy losing a precious place in Sarah's life. We have come to the end of today's Bible series, and I will ask again to subscribe to my channel. This will enable you to get notification. This will enable you to get notification anytime I post a video. Thank you, and do have a beautiful week. Till I come your way next week, I remain the same Auntie Bookie. Do have a nice week. Bye.